This is a review for the 3M4251 half face respirator. It's one of the disposable type ones and it's very good, so that's why I wanted to do a full review of it, because I've covered it in other videos but never given it a full review. So it comes in a resealable plastic bag, which I'll explain why it's in a resealable bag in a moment. And here is the actual respirator itself. So you basically have dual filters. You have a particulate 2 level filter there and a particulate 2 level filter there. You then have your exhale valve here, which is, you can see around the exhale valve it's got a brown and white coating. That's to tell you that it's a A1P2 filter. I think it might even say on there that it is an A1P2 filter. Yep, A1P2 right there. And there's several variants of this mask, so if you wanted it to have certain features and not others, you could get, you know, a particular one. So the inside looks like that. You've got your 2 inhale valves, the yellow things on either side of the mask. Then you've got your exhale valve there, very simple. Your chin sits in that bit. It's a very comfortable fit. You've got, this is the main head harness. You've got this, which goes on the back, sort of top of your head, with 2 elastic straps, which are adjustable. And then you have an adjustable sort of clip section here. So what you do is pull this bit out, put it into your nose like that, adjust your glasses as need be. One of the things I like with this mask is it will actually work with glasses, unlike a lot of respirators. Then you get this section here with its clip, and you just simply clip that on. You then have the respirator fitted to your face. As I said, most glasses will fit fairly well with it. Then you can do this, and then you can check that you've got your fit check. People seem to be able to understand you fairly well when you've got this on. I do use this when I'm doing my volunteering to avoid inhaling hay dust and sort of straw dust and the spores off of those, because that can set my hay fever off and my asthma. So it's very good for that. Now, these masks are really good because they don't cost very much. This one, the most basic one, 4251, is about £15 roughly, £15 to £20 online. Now, if I was going to get this model again, I'd actually go for the 4255. The reason being, the 4251 is A1P2 protection. So the A is organic chemicals, organic vapours. That's most things like paint strippers, solvents, things like that, paints. Most industrial chemicals normal people will be working with outside of a specialised field are going to be organic chemicals. So has activated carbon inside it to protect against that. That's why it's in a sealed bag, because once you open it and expose it to the air, the activated carbon starts to absorb chemicals, and obviously you need to keep it in a sealed bag to stop the filters expiring really quickly. So the 4255 is, as far as I'm aware, A2P3 protection. Now, it's the P protection that I'm more fussy about, because P2 protection, for example, won't keep out ground up dusts and asbestos, whereas P3 will. So P3 offers you a much better level of protection for a mask that's only going to cost a couple of pounds more if you buy it as the that model, not this one. It's, you know, worth paying just a couple of extra quid to get that much better level of protection. Now, if you were buying it for some sort of industry use where you needed it, or as a prepper, I definitely advise going for these two, specifically the last one, the 4279, because that's the full ABEK rated one. So that means that you can pretty much use it against any chemical known to man that doesn't actually suffocate you due to a lack of oxygen, and it'll work fine. Obviously, I'm going to say nearly every, because I'm not an expert on these things. I've just done a lot of reading on it. So if it is actually something that the mask doesn't cover, obviously do your own research and know what you need from a mask before using it for that. But for most people, if you bought that model, it means you'd be covered against anything you might encounter. Now, 3M do say this mask has quite a short shelf life, and I've been using it for far longer than they recommend, but again, I'm using it as sort of a 1 day a week thing, and not against anything too strong. So how masks like this work is you have an expiry for both your carbon filter, I'll show you on the actual mask, and the particulate filter. So the white bit you can see is the particulate filter, the carbon's in underneath it. And the particulate filter doesn't really expire as such. Eventually it will become clogged if too much dirt is stuck on the outside of it, because it just works just like a coffee filter.
the dirt gets stuck on that side and can't get through. So eventually it clogs up and you can't breathe through the mask. Now the carbon actually expires either after too much time's passed and stuff's just stuck to it, or if you are in a chemical scenario for too long, those chemicals get absorbed to the carbon, and then what will happen is eventually you'll start being able to smell through the respirator. Once odours are penetrating the respirator, it means it's worn out and you need to replace it. At the moment, although it's far out of the lifetime 3M recommend for it, I think it's about 5 years if you have it sealed in the bag, but once you open it, it's about a month of use if if the month is longer than smelling through it. Saying the particulate filters last indefinitely, and I bought this for all the particulate filters, and the Organic Vapour, the charcoal protection, that works for a month or as long as you can't smell through it. But however, I've had this open now for probably a good few months. Not sure if it's like 6 months yet, but I still don't smell anything through it from keeping it sealed in the bag and using it 1 day a week, so it's past there. So as saying, I'd recommend the 4255 over the 4251 for most people, just because it gives you a better level of protection. But the 4279 is where I think if you're going to buy it, you might as well buy that, and then you're protected against everything and you can use it as a mask. So what I like about this being in the resealable packet is you can basically keep it in your car or somewhere. That's what I do with mine, and you can just get out as and when you need it. I've tried full-on gas masks where I've been volunteering, and I find that's not as good, simply because they're a bit too clunky. They cut your vision range down. I can't wear them with my glasses if I want to. So having a half face mask like this does everything I want, as well as being lighter weight, more comfortable if I'm, spending half an hour moving hay and straw around and everything like that. So, yeah. So the 3M451 and this whole series of 4.2 respirators is really good. I definitely recommend them. As I said, you choose the one that you want, you're going to need the protection from. I'd personally say just go for the very high-end one, because it's only like the price of 2 of these or less for the highest level protection one. Obviously, if you want one that's not a disposable mask, what you can do is buy the 3M ones, half face masks, where you can put the new filters on them. They're very, very popular, but I thought I'd get this because it does what I want. So one thing to note, as I sort of mentioned, is a lot of sellers, not 3M themselves, but a lot of sellers will say this is an asbestos removal mask. You'd actually need the 4255 for that, because the 4255 is the one that's got P3 protection, which is particulate level 3, which is what you want when working with asbestos. Particulate 2 isn't really good enough if it's something that could cause you long-term health issues or death through inhalation. You want to go for the P3 if dealing with asbestos, but for dusting, sanding, working with straw and hay, anything like that, the 4251 with P2 protection is good enough. But as said, I think if you're going to spend the money on it, you might as well buy a higher up model than this one for what you do. So again, you pull this back, it is adjustable, these things. Then you just clip this bit round the back, and you're good to go. You just do your fit check, and you can breathe very easily. It's comfortable to wear for quite a while because it's quite lightweight. You can breathe through it very easily because it's a dual filter mask, not a single filter mask, and it's a big wide filter area. So yeah, the 3M4251 I would definitely recommend. It ticks every box you want from a disposable half-face respirator, and it's actually quite comfortable as well. So this is both good if you wanted it as a sort of tradesman mask, or if you wanted it as an emergency prep mask to keep in your car or something like that. So big thumbs up for the 3M4251 and the 4.2 whatever family of masks.